Setting boundaries does not make you a bad person. This is something we need to learn in our relationships, in our life, and how we navigate every relationship that we have. Everyone is not going to get every part of you, or at least they shouldn't. But sometimes we feel guilty, sometimes we feel like bad people because we set boundaries in our life. And if you're a person who just feels like everybody should get all access pass to you, I want to ask you to reconsider today and encourage you to do some deep thinking and some searching within and say, where do I need to set boundaries where I feel like and can actually probably see I'm being taken advantage of, I'm not being celebrated. You know, you hear the statement, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. Where are you being tolerated at? Where are you not being celebrated at? I would encourage you, ask some of those questions. Those can help navigate you in your boundary setting task. We all need to set boundaries. And to help encourage you to do this, Jesus Christ himself did not give every part of himself to everybody when he walked the earth. Yes, he died on the cross for everybody. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in moments in the Gospels where he would not give him full self over to certain groups of people because he was able to discern what was in their hearts, and he knew that if I give my full self to them, it's not going to be received the way those who celebrate me and honor me will receive it. So where do you need to set boundaries at? Maybe it's at your job. What coworkers do you need to come to the conclusion that they are my coworkers? These aren't my best friends. These aren't people that I share my deepest, darkest secrets about, because that relationship may shift in a certain season. So maybe I need to set a boundary there. Where is it? And maybe in my friendships, who are those closer ones to me? Who are the ones that I allow access to in my life, that I'm not afraid to share my vulnerable places with, that I'm not afraid to share the things I'm dealing with and the pain I feel? Because not everyone is able to handle your vulnerability. Because there are people, and we have to realize this, there are people who will take that vulnerability and expose it to everybody who doesn't need to have the privilege of seeing it. I need people who know how to cover me when I feel naked, vulnerable, when I feel exposed, when I feel like I'm going through something. That group that I lean on when I'm going through an issue or dealing with a struggle in my life, that group is not very large. It's actually a very small group that I'm able to lean on. Because the more voices you bring into a problem, the bigger the problem is going to get. And at some point, when you say, I'm just running around trying to get wisdom from people, at some point, it goes beyond trying to get wise counsel, and it goes into just finding somebody who will validate what you want to do. Don't go find people who just want to validate what you want to do. In other words, we call these yes men or yes people. We need people who are going to tell us the hard thing. People who are going to challenge us to do the thing that we're uncomfortable and maybe don't want to venture into. We need people who are going to pull us out of our comfort zones. And sometimes you just don't get that. So in that, you need to realize, what boundaries do I need to set? You're not putting up walls. No. You're putting up gates. And so walls keep everybody out. Gates, you have the privilege of determining who gets access. So who gets access into your life? Where do you need to set boundaries at? Because you need to be healthy. You need to be emotionally and mentally healthy and spiritually healthy. And relationships have a way of contributing to all three of those lanes. So where do you need to set boundaries? Where do you need to, and this might be difficult in an ongoing relationship you have now, because to come in now into the relationship and begin to set boundaries may cause the person on the other side to feel like that you're being rude or mean. You're not being rude or mean. You do it with the right spirit. You do it with the right heart. And you come to the understanding that maybe everyone's not going to understand. Can you come to that place? Can you come to that place of understanding that maybe everyone won't understand your boundary setting? It's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person. Jesus set boundaries. He even had 12 disciples, and out of that 12, he had 3 that he allowed to see certain things of his life that the other 9 disciples did not get to see. But yet he continued on with the 12, but he allowed in certain moments the 3 to see vulnerable moments, like being transfigured on the Mount of Transfiguration, where Peter, James, and John saw his glory and saw greatness on top of the mountain, while the other 9 didn't get to see it. That's an example of setting boundaries. So where do you need to set boundaries in your life? And remember, just because you set boundaries doesn't mean you're a bad person.